Hey guys, it's Conf Color Studios here, and today we are here at Great Adventure for the final day of the safari. But before we go in the safari, I will show you guys the update on the new coaster. All right, we're now over here to give you guys an update on the new coaster. Let's go see what's going on. So I'm gonna be honest, not too much has changed since my last time over here. The footer still looks exactly the same. Looks like there's been a little bit of a trench of sorts dug out right there. That kind of leads upwards a little bit, but otherwise, nothing too much has changed. And that is quite the hefty size footer right there, that is for sure. And just look at the reinforcement on the sides here for it. That is huge. I mean huge. Ken, do you think we're gonna get another footer after this one?
I think so, over that one.
I think you're right. Can't tell exactly where yet. And I don't know if we're really gonna be able to come over here after today, because after today the safari is closed, so it's gonna make it a little tricky to come over here. But this is cool. And then of course down the line there, nothing too much has changed. It's still pretty much the same. There it is. So much rebar. Look at that. Like I said, I don't know if we're gonna get any more views of it this year, so this could be the last look we're getting this close. There it is. That is a footer from Ka that they didn't dig up. So it's still there, almost intruding into the new one, but not quite. That's crazy. This area right here is probably gonna look pretty different this time next year. All right, we're back, which means it is time to go on the safari.
Let's Gary quickly.
Hello, Gary.
Let's go. All right. So Gary's going to get us where we need to be, but before we go there, let's go over a few rules first. First rule is I need you.
Got out of the safari, and it looks like they have this nice little setup here. I didn't see this yet, with a safari sign. Definitely a good photo op for fall with all the pumpkins and everything. I really like this. Fred and Wilma have retired to the winter home at the Cape May Zoo, so they're no longer here. But we'll see them back here next year. We have my favorite animal, Goats. A lot of goats. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. They got this little gate open too so that they can come cross over to this portion of the exhibit as well. All right, we've made it over to the park, and something I noticed as we were coming over in the parking lot, so if you guys remember during Fright Fest, they had this whole side of the parking lot blocked off, so you had to park on that side, and the barricades are still up, but they're not like up, so you can just kind of go around them. I guess they only really do that for Fright Fest for crowd control, but during these pretty dead Grateful November days, they probably figured there's no need. But we are going to see a lot of Veterans Day celebration stuff up. You can actually see that already over here, since early this week is going to be Veterans Day. So I guess they're kind of doing the celebration both today, or this weekend and next weekend. And Grateful November every weekend has a little bit of a different benefit. So like if you are a member of, I believe, any of the services for the U.S. Military, you do get discounted admission into the park, which is really, really nice of them to do. And as we keep going on, there's going to be more and more things. So they do give you an incentive to come every weekend, which is very smart. And towards the end, they will have some holiday in the park stuff. I know they already have s'mores out, which we'll see. They're going to have the special show on the giant wheel playing, as well as a few other things, which is exciting. But of course, since it is Veterans Weekend, we have the safari truck out with the thank you veterans. We have tons of American flags. I'm sure we'll see lots of them as we go in, which is always very nice to see. So a few things over here. For one, we have on both sides the army of American flags everywhere, which is very nice. They even changed the hometown hero sign to say Grateful November with all of the hometown heroes on it, which is always really, really nice that they do this. And then because the MVP sale is now over, they do have a different sign promoting passes that has the official artwork for Flash. You can see it over there. Not artwork, they're actual photos now, which is much better. And everything out here has changed. Now they have Grateful November ads, just, you know, season pass ads, all that fun stuff. And they have some of the promotions here as well with the Weekend of Giving, the Military Appreciation Days, all that nice stuff. So as we're coming in both to the dry park as well as the safari, I'm noticing that on the phones, they have a new scanning system for, you know, getting people into the park. And it's definitely different. The box for it is a QR code and not a standard barcode, which if you guys do have Cedar Fair passes, you would know that they use QR codes as opposed to barcodes. And in the app, you may have noticed that if you have an older pass, you might have gotten now duplicate passes. There's a blue one and then your original one. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what it's for. I'm sure we'll figure it out sooner than later, but it's definitely strange. Also, what a difference coming into the park this week compared to, you know, the previous few weeks during Fright Fest. It is much less crowded now than it was during Fright Fest. They also have the Write a Letter to a Veteran promotion out here. We could, of course, write a letter to a veteran. And everyone's favorite, the giant bald eagle. And it's interesting because they have the base for the tree, because they usually use that for when they have the tree out for holiday in the park. But obviously we will not be getting a tree this year since there is no holiday in the park. And they have plenty of different promotions for Grateful November, which you'll see throughout the park. One of which is definitely going to be some heavier discounts. I mean, as you can see, yes, the park did just open about 15 minutes ago, but it is not very crowded. And I have a feeling that's how it's going to be throughout the rest of November. Also over here, the MVP sale thing is gone. So I am no longer permanently in the park, unfortunately. They do have all these banners up for the different branches of services. You got Marine Corps, I think that's Air Force, a whole bunch of them up here. And of course they have their American stilt walkers out and about for Veterans Weekend. All right, so up here as we enter Plaza de Carnaval, there's that new pass promo I was talking about with a real picture of Flash finally. And you can see a lot of remnants from Fright Fest. Obviously just ended last weekend, so they're not gonna have everything down. I saw some structure over there for the Freak Show as well. It's still up, and a lot of the stuff from Plaza de la Muerte has been removed, except for the giant archways. I'm sure those will be removed in time, but this area is gonna close more than likely after this weekend. I know Toro's done after this weekend, after today actually. So they're probably figuring there's not really much of a rush to get all this stuff out of here since this area is gonna be closed after today anyway. So Medusa is not going to be available today, and as a result, this pathway is closed off, so you cannot get to Medusa. You still can't get to Mine Train, you gotta go all the way around. But we are obviously here for El Toro on its final day of the season. I just did 5 quick rides on El Toro, and it's been a while since I've really come and just ridden it. And shout out to the crew today. You guys know who you are. You guys are awesome. So cool. And it was running pretty good, actually. Once we got a full train and, you know, started going a few times, it was running great. Nice to see that it's running good for its final day. Also over here, you can see that the contour pathway is not completely blocked off. They just have these 2 garbage cans, but you can still see, you know, what was over there. You can see that, what's it called? All of the queue stuff for the mazes is gone, but it is still here. So I'm curious what's gonna happen with this next year, if anything at all. Got a bit of a merch update over here. The sale has now been bumped to 75% off on some of this really nice merchandise. You got some Holiday in the Park merch. That's way better than my membership discount, and that's 50. But yeah, there's even some hoodies. Wow, 75% off. That's almost as good as Six Flags America's closing sale. We are gonna go down to Frontier Adventures to ride Mine Train. Interestingly enough, you can still see a little bit of Fright Fest remnants, like that map right there. You'll still see some stuff floating around as they continue to kind of, you know, get out of the Fright Fest season. There's another one of the Fright Fest maps right there. I also forgot to mention while we were over at Toro that it was just the B train on. The A train has already been decommissioned for the year. Mine Train, though, is still on 2 trains. So hopefully we'll see it stay open later than usual this year. Now it is time for Mine Train, another ride I have not been on in quite some time. All right, so we just got off Mine Train. I rode in the back this time, which I don't normally do, and it was good. Like I said, Medusa is closed. They have it blocked off over here, but that does include the bathrooms, which kind of it stings. I gotta go to the bathrooms. I gotta walk all the way back up here now. So came over here to Adventure World to see what they have for sale in here, and it looks like they have all the Stranger Things merch, 75% off. And I would think it would sell a lot more now than usual because Stranger Things 5 is releasing at the end of the month, so there's a lot of hype for the series. But they still have some stuff left they're trying to blow out. And there's more over here too. You got all the Hawkins merchandise, lots of Stranger Things stuff, Hellfire Club. So I'm curious when I come back in like a week or so, how much of this is still left. All right, we're down here on the boardwalk now. Garden Steak Grill is closed, unsurprisingly. I didn't expect it to be open after Fright Fest, but Boardwalk Steak and Fries is open, which is very cool. Also, a bit of a complaint, and I've noticed this across the park. I know I mentioned it during Fright Fest, but Fright Fest is over now. There's no reason for the music to be as loud as it is. Sounds like the speakers are gonna blow themselves out, but even besides that, it's just not pleasant in the ears. So if anyone from the park is listening, please, please, please turn down the volume of the speakers. It would be much appreciated. It's crazy to think that exactly a year ago today, to the date, on November 8th, I was over there where Ka once was, and that was actually the day I rode Kingda Ka 64 times in one day. The most I've ever ridden a single ride in one day. And to look over there now and just see nothing it's sad. I do have a video coming out tomorrow to commemorate 1 year since Kingda Ka closed, and the intro to it is one of my favorites. So be sure to stay tuned for that, because I'm gonna really be excited for that video to come out. It's crazy just in general to walk through this area and think what it looked like a year ago today, and just how much things have changed, and you know, in very many ways. It's a sad sight for sure, but hopefully we'll see this one go up sooner than later, and then the park will continue to rebuild. You can also see that most of the Army of the Dead stuff is now down. All they have is the road sign up there, and back over where Conjuring was, as you can see, it was completely gone. They got rid of that pretty quick. Making our way back towards the fountain where you can see Flash. An interesting observation about Flash is that it has never and currently will never operate during Holiday in the Park. Since there is no Holiday in the Park this year, it wasn't open last year. So the real question is, will Flash ever get to be open for a Holiday in the Park? I guess only time will tell. So as I'm walking through the park, I heard Venga Bus playing, and I also hear this Bon Jovi song playing. I think Venga Bus just ended, but I guess it's different songs in different areas of the park now. You can see that the Speed Force has changed from what it was, the Speed Force. During Fright Fest, it was, of course, a haunted attractions location, and now it is just Six Flags Great Adventure. I don't know what they're gonna do with it yet. And then Fright Fest Fanatics is still Fright Fest Fanatics. And over here in the front of the giant wheel, they have put out another one of the safari trucks with that information bit on what it actually is in military use. And look at that, s'mores have returned for not Holiday in the Park. There's a little sign there, it's buy 3, get 1 free. Look at that. I have heard reports that the benefit that we have with Diamond Elite VIP, or just Diamond Elite in general, where you're supposed to get a free s'mores every year, I've heard it's not working. I'm not gonna try it today, I'll probably wait till later in the season, but I'd imagine they'll probably get that resolved if they want to make it something available to us. And they have changed the menu over here at Granny's. They got meatloaf, pot roast, hamburger chicken tenders, and barbecue chicken legs. So definitely some updates over here. Actually, I'm now realizing that me hearing Vengavus playing was probably for the Giant Wheel show, which sounds like it's going on right now. Now they're playing We Will Rock You by Queen. So seems like this is the new version of the show that they have. Look at all the American flags they've added over here by Flash. That's awesome. All right, now we're gonna go for a ride on Flash. Actually, I haven't ridden Flash in quite some time.
An estimated time frame for how long this may take.
You can hear what they're saying. It just went down. Go figure. The one time I want to ride. Gift shop over here next to Metro Grill has closed for the year seemingly. And they did take down all of the RIP bar signs. I did find out that it was open just only during Fright Fest, so that's why I never got to go inside, because it was only open later on in Fright Fest, and by the time we were past like week 3 or something of Fright Fest, I stopped coming pretty much. You can see wreckage is completely disassembled at this point. All that's left is that sign on the side of the building. Otherwise, all the queue and stuff is gone. Seems like overall, they were able to disassemble Fright Fest pretty quickly, all things considered, because there was a lot out, but I'm not seeing too much left. Some more signs over there for Grateful November. As I've been walking around the park a little more as we've gotten later in the day, crowds are definitely starting to pick up. You can see Devil has actually accumulated a bit of a line, which could be because it is on 2 trains. I'm actually kind of surprised they don't have 3, but it's all right. Devil seems to be running pretty good, and obviously Devil's gonna have significantly higher crowds than usual because of the fact that Nitro is currently closed and probably not gonna reopen for the rest of the year, but looks like people are enjoying Devil. It's running pretty quick too. It's actually a much warmer day than usual today. It's about 65 degrees, which for November, definitely pretty warm. Look at that, a rare sight. You can actually see Air Safari operating in the distance. Let's go see if I can catch it. Yep, there it goes. For those of you that are unaware, that ride has been closed for quite a while and reopened recently. It's great to see it back up and running. And there it goes. This was one of my favorite rides as a kid too, so very happy they didn't get rid of it and that they kept it, and now it's back open. And here the last chance sale continues. Looks like some signs say 60, but the ones actually near the merch say 75, and it's still that same kind of subset of merch we've seen at the other stores. Looks like over here in the lakefront, they kept up almost all of the Fright Fest decor, which, well, they got rid of the tentacles in the water, but everything else is pretty much still up. Which makes me wonder if they're just gonna say, you know, why not leave it up? Because it does add to the theming of the area. It's not like overly spooky, most of it, so I'd be cool with it just all staying up. Over here at the pavilion next to Johnny Rockets, I really like some of that vinery they added on some of the supports in there. It's really nice. All right, well, I just did a loop around the park side over here, so let's see if in that time Flash has managed to fix itself. Look at that, it reopened. Perfect. So we rode Flash, went and saw those Looney Tunes, and got some Ritas, and that's gonna do it for our relatively quick visit. A little longer than my usual visits, but it was nice to get on Toro for the final time this year, as well as the Safari for the final time this year, as well as, of course, taking a look at the construction on the new coaster and riding Mine Train. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.